Okay, so next steps for the lying scumbag from Harvard. As I said previously, I started with a very high bar for the lying scumbag from Harvard. And I've been successively reducing the reward for the lying scumbag from Harvard to re-engage, because as I said, all he cares about is mentions on social media. If there were endless comparisons to him to the most disreputable person who ever lived, he'd be jerking off over it. In fact, I think it's a reasonable assertion that he certainly has done that already. Did you come on your phone, or did you, use a wet towel, you lying scumbag from Harvard? So here's next steps. As I said, he needs for me to re-engage so he can start masturbating again and claim that his model works, which of course it doesn't, or at least it hasn't proven to work. I will happily re-engage if he sends me a picture of his degree from Harvard. Okay? And then next steps. He and I will get on the phone to the appropriate authority to confirm that the lying scumbag from Harvard actually is from Harvard. Okay? He'll hear that. And the question will be, I've incontrovertibly identified a liar and a scumbag who claims to be a graduate of your school. Is it permissible for you to disclose whether he has a degree? They're going to say yes, I think. We'll get there. They'll say yes, the lying scumbag from Harvard actually is a lying scumbag from Harvard. I'm going to assume, not going to assume, there's no assumptions. I'm granting that the person providing that information is not a lying scumbag from Harvard. I have no way of knowing they're not, at least at this point. So then after we confirm that you are indeed a lying scumbag from Harvard, we're going to together figure out who we need to call for someone at Harvard to at least listen to how Harvard produced a liar and a scumbag. Okay? Because I would contend that it would be irrational to me to presume at the outset that Harvard had nothing to do with producing a liar and a scumbag. I believe it's plausible, because I don't know what he believed before self-identifying as a lying scumbag from Harvard, what he believed and what he didn't believe. In other words, he could have his vacuous, hurtful ethics. In other words, he always could have been a lying scumbag for Harvard. He just hasn't graduated from Harvard. Certainly those exist in the world, right? I mean, so he's, at that point, he is the lying scumbag who will eventually get a degree from Harvard. Okay? How is that not a logical claim? Good luck. So, because all he's done by providing actual evidence of going to an accredited university, again, I'm talking about the one in Massachusetts. If it's not in Massachusetts, that's fine. If you went to a Harvard in, I don't know, there's countries of the world, there's, probably 200 countries in the world I can't name, or 250 anyway. So as long as I can do my research, you have now handed me on a silver platter a far more ponderous, far more dangerous, far more large unknown about how and why Harvard, to what measure, produced a liar and a scumbag. Right? So once I confirm that you have a degree from Harvard, I'll keep you in the loop. but you'll be no longer the intended so-called target of my moral imperative, as I feel it, to extinguish pernicious liars and scumbags. The same way for viruses. If I could kill dangerous viruses because I don't know what's going to happen in the future, I feel that the rational thing to do would be to rid the world, by whatever means, of that agent. So you've wonderfully, if you just agree to get on the phone and confirm that you went to Harvard, you've handed me my next gigantic impugning of you lying scumbag from Harvard. And then I can leave you in the dust. Although I said I'd re-engage if you did this. We'll sort it out. We'll sort it out. Okay? I'm going to grant you what you want as long as you keep playing along. Okay? But playing along is going to be a evidentiary exercise that you're unfortunately going to have to be part of because you don't know what you're talking about, you lying scumbag from Harvard. So let me know, and thank you for creating in the world all by yourself. Oh, excuse me, not all by yourself. We cannot determine causality perfectly, and not even I would argue, not even close to perfectly, because we live in a deterministic universe, right? So, just I'll prove the claim. Make the claim. You're from Harvard, and then I'll put up a video for thanking the lying scumbag from Harvard for giving me incontrovertible evidence for questioning Harvard University's, assuming whatever that it means, at least for the time being, either misapplication, I would characterize it, as ethics, morality, logic, the golden rule. I will assume, because you're a liar and a scumbag who went to Harvard, then there has to be some causality between Harvard and the so-called and the lying scumbag. So now I have to go on an evidentiary mission explaining why Harvard is producing liars and scumbags. Is it because they don't know what the golden rule is? Is it because they don't care what the golden rule is? Is it because they're not responsible for the ethics and methods of their graduates as they interact with the real world? That they don't want to take any ownership for that? That means Harvard is worse, is creating more harm than good in the world, at least perhaps. See, that's called logic, lying scumbag from Harvard. I've stated this so many ways, and I've made it the burden for the lying scumbag from Harvard successively easier and easier so that he can go off sucking his own dick again. I mean, if I could suck my own dick, I think I would give up a doctor's name. I think I would take a picture of my degree if I could suck my own cock. And, being an autofellatio freak, like the lying scumbag from Harvard, all autofellatio freaks care about, presumably, is autofellatio. Because by definition, I'm saying it is an act that involves no one else. So ethics and morality are not involved. Or maybe you don't understand that, you lying scumbag from Harvard. Okay? Now Harvard is in a position, whether they do this or not, of either claiming they don't give a fuck that they've helped produce a liar and a scumbag because it's not their problem. They can't do that and then simultaneously make a persuasive case that anybody should not want the wanton destruction of Harvard University as a matter of preserving well-being. At least that would be, I contend, a moral framework to impugn the integrity of somebody who produced a lying scumbag from Harvard. So they either provide evidence that they tried, or at least assert that they tried to teach Hunter, fuck, I almost said his name, the lying scumbag from Harvard, the golden rule, or they have to acknowledge that the golden rule is useless for graduates like the lying scumbag from Harvard. If there's a third choice, I'm willing to listen. I don't think there is. You're either culpable or you're not. You're either persuasively causal or you're not, or you're proven to be causal by the standards of reason, evidence, and intellectual honesty, something that the lying scumbag from Harvard has already surrendered. And that's where we are. Now I have a wonderful exercise for those that want to learn, lying scumbag from Harvard, how you endlessly make the other side's burden easier, but your case gets stronger and stronger. That's really easy when you're not a lying scumbag from Harvard. I hope you can understand that. I'm happy to post a video. If you somehow can let me know through somebody else that you don't understand that, I'll post a video, another video directed to you, you lying scumbag from Harvard. Stay tuned.